Hey girlfriends, and welcome back. Today I'm giving you guys crochet braids. It's not a wig, surprisingly, with no leave out and no cornrows. So we're starting this tutorial off as always on stretched hair. I went ahead and washed, conditioned my hair, and I just put these 4 big plaits in. So I'm just going to brush them out with a paddle brush to detangle them. First and foremost, I want to give a big shout out to Jess the Dragoness. That's who I was inspired by to create this tutorial. I'm following her 3-part Vixen Braidless Crochet flip over method for this tutorial. I modified it a little bit for my own liking, but I was pretty much inspired by her method. So shout out to you, girl. I'm going to go ahead and split my hair right down the middle. I'm pretty much trying to create a versatile install. I want to be able to have many different styles with this hairstyle. I want to have, you know, the middle part as well as 2 side parts on either side, the left and the right. So I'm just going to go ahead and separate basically the front of my head from the back, and I'm going from the tip of my ear over to the other side. The back I'm going to go ahead and tuck away because I'm just going to work on the front, and I'm prepping my hair with this anti-itch serum. This is from Salon Pro 30-second. I love to use this for my installs, weaves or wigs. It just helps to soothe my scalp and has a nice minty feel to it. So I'm going ahead and separating my 4 parts. Like I said, I have the middle and then I'll have the 2 side parts on the side. I'm using some Daily Leave-In. This is from Patsy Girl, I believe. This is her daily moisturizing spray. I'm going to go ahead and use some pink lotion as well, just to smooth everything down. I'm pretty much just trying to lock in as much moisture as possible. That way my hair does not dry out and my scalp does not itch super bad. It's like the quickest way to make your install uncomfortable and make you want to take it down early. I used a rubber hair elastic to separate the hair. I'm just going to create 4 large pigtails pretty much to separate the sections. I decided to go ahead and braid down mine just to make sure that my hair is nice and protected and that it can actually soak in and lock in this moisture. I added a little bit more of the pink lotion towards the end and twirled to lock in all of the moisture, like I said. I'm just going to repeat this on all 4 ponytails. Like I said, essentially what we're doing is the flip over method. You guys see me use the flip over method from Ivy Powell a lot when it comes down to most of my installs for wigs, but I thought it would be kind of dope to use for these crochet braids. That way I'm not stuck with one hairstyle at all. So we're pretty much just mimicking that without as many parts. We just need the 4 basic parts. Most of us wear our hair either in the middle or we flip it over from side to side. And that's pretty much what we're trying to create the illusion of with these 4 ponytails. To prevent damage when you take down this hairstyle, you're going to want to cut out the rubber bands out of your head versus pulling them out, because it will pull on your hair. The correct way to remove these rubber bands is to cut them out, girls. Please don't try to pull them out. And I'm going ahead and braiding or plaiting down each ponytail just to make sure that I don't have any loose hairs out. I didn't want my hair to get tangled up or caught up as it's growing out or as the hairstyle gets old. I wanted to make sure that my hair is completely protected. The only thing I'm going to be manipulating every day is going to be my edges. So the hardest part is complete. We can go ahead and work on the back, y'all. I was getting so tired. My hair is so ridiculously thick that it's really hard to manage. I know a lot of you guys are always asking me about my fitness routine or whatever. I do not work out, y'all. Get you some natural hair and you will have really strong biceps and muscles, trust me. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the back section into a low ponytail right in the nape of my neck, but in the back of my head, a little bit high up, right where my ears meet. I'm just going to go ahead and plait that down into a really large plait. You don't want to have this ponytail up too high or too low, or else it'll be extremely uncomfortable to sleep with. With this particular plait, I'm able to lay on either side with complete comfort. And now I'm just going to go ahead and use a rubber band to secure my 4 ponytails into that large ponytail. And if your hair is too short, feel free to use bobby pins just to lay everything down nice and flat. You want everything to go into this really low bun in the back of your head. Now I know what y'all probably thinking, how in the world is she going to cover up this bun? I can use this pattern for this particular hairstyle because of the hair I'm going to be using. It's really thick and it's going to cover everything, trust me girls. So today I'm using the Model 3 times glance braid water curl, and this is a 14-inch crochet hair. It's pretty loose hair. I'm just using my crochet latch hook. I'm sticking it in the back of my head, pull the hair through, and I'm just going to loop it through the entire loop 3 times to make sure that it's secure. And then I'm going to pull the 2 strands to lock everything in place. It's really simple, guys. So just stick the crochet hook through, stick the hair on top of the hook and close it, pull it through, and then you're going to pull the hair through that large loop. Now I'm using this basic crochet method for the majority of the back of my head, and when I get to the front is where I'm going to use the invisible braidless crochet method. That's what I'm going to use for the front, but the back doesn't really matter because it's going to be covered. Be sure to space out your installation. You don't want to add too much hair into one spot or else it'll become dense in that one spot. So I'm pretty much going from section to section, left to right, the middle. I'm doing the bun, some of these parts. I'm pretty much just, you know, trying to keep a lot of movement in my installation. I don't want to stay in one spot installing too much hair into one spot. As far as takedown, it's extremely simple. As you guys can see, our base is pretty much going to be this large bun in the back of our head. So eventually your hair is going to grow out, it's going to get old, and you're going to be able to reach the back of your head to pull out that large plait. So for the front, like I said, I'm using the braidless crochet method. So I'm going to loop the hair through, but instead of pulling both strands through the loop, I'm just going to pull one strand through the loop 3 times, and then I'm going to pull everything taut to lock it into place. And I'll show you guys another time just to make sure you guys get it. I'm sticking the crochet loop through, pulling the hair through, taking the loop, and I'm just going to thread one strand of the crochet hair through. This is pretty much going to get rid of that large knot that usually happens when you pull both of the strands of hair through the loop. It's going to allow it to not have that large knot. So when you pull your hair into a ponytail or you pull it up out of your face, you're not going to see a whole bunch of knots like normal crochet braids. It'll look a little bit more realistic, and it'll take a little bit more time for someone to figure out that these are crochet braids in your head. Now this step is a little bit tedious, so I did not do my entire head like this. I only focused this method in the front of my head. The front, as well as all of the parts, I want them to look as seamless as possible without the knots. But the back, like I said, is pretty much going to be covered, so I'm not really worried about not showing in the back. You're just going to pretty much repeat these steps over and over again for each section. I went pretty light for my sections with the hair. I wanted to make sure that everything was covered and that it wasn't too bulky in the front. I ended up actually installing a little bit too much in my middle part, so eventually you guys will see in my upcoming tutorials I took down some of the hair in the middle part. Y'all know I got hungry too. But altogether it took me about 3.5 to 4 hours. I actually got the install done in one night, and then the next morning I went ahead and did my cutting and styling, which you guys will see in a few seconds when I'm done installing these crochet braids. And altogether I used about 3 packs, I believe, of the 4 that was sent over to me. And here is the next morning. I pretty much just tied my hair up into a high pineapple, and I used a scarf to hold everything down. This is 100% synthetic hair, so I definitely wanted to protect it at night. And as you guys can see, my flip over is perfection. Like, I can legit flip my hair over on either side. I just need to lay down my baby hairs to make them look a little bit more put together so that the style looks a little more fresh. And I'm using my normal edge control method, which is pretty much just to pull down my baby hairs, use some ORS olive oil edge control as my starter, my prime, and then I go back in with some gel just to set everything and make it last a little bit longer. These are 14-inch crochet braids, so you can pretty much leave them how they are. I just wanted to shape them up a little bit and style them to my own liking, but like I said, you could leave your hair just like this and wear it just like this, but I wanted to go and take it a step further and style them. So for cutting and shaping, I went ahead and just got rid of all of the, I call them like lonely straggler hairs. All of the hairs that are too long or look out of place, I just went ahead and cut them to fit the rest of the shape of my head. They pretty much layered nicely on their own, so I just needed to cut the ones that, like I said, were hanging a little bit too low or were a little bit too frizzy at the bottom. Now, I personally did not separate my hair beforehand. I wanted to let it age over time. I know it's curly hair and it's synthetic, so I already knew it would get puffy on its own, and I didn't want to help it get puffy too early. I wanted to keep this at least 2 weeks. I kept it in for about a week and a half, and these are my final results. So you guys let me know in the comments below what you guys think. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.